So today, we're going to dive into a really powerful and, yeah, maybe a little unsettling idea from a talk by Chase Hughes. The basic premise? That we've been programmed to fail. We're going to look at how this indoctrination works and, way more importantly, how you can start to break free from it. All right, let's jump right in. So the whole thing kicks off with this massive, kind of unnerving question. What if your entire worldview, who you think you are, the things you chase after, your basic sense of reality, what if all of it was just installed, like software, without you ever clicking agree? And look, this isn't just some philosophical game. It's the key to understanding why so many of us feel like something is just off. You know that feeling, right? That little hum in the background of your life that something just isn't right. That sense that you're kind of just performing, going through the motions, but not really living. Well, the argument here is that this feeling, it isn't your fault. It's a symptom of the program we're all running. I mean, just think about these things, the constant anxiety, the indecision over tiny things, the self-doubt, that feeling of performing aliveness. The idea here is that these aren't random glitches in your personal software. No way. They're features. They are the intended result of a system built to keep us calm, distracted, and basically sedated. You're not broken. You're just working as designed. So how in the world did we get here? Well, the thinking goes that it happened through all these little trades, tiny bargains we've been conditioned to make without even thinking. We traded our personal sovereignty for a feeling of security. We swapped out genuine awareness for endless entertainment. And we gave up difficult truths for easy conveniences. And that nagging feeling that something is off, that's what you get when your life is built on these trades. Okay, so who wrote this code? Who built this system? According to the source material, this was no accident, not at all. It was engineered. So let's take a look at the blueprint, at the key moments in history that shaped the program we're all living inside of today. The whole process was incredibly methodical. It starts way back in 18th century Prussia with an education model designed not to create brilliant minds, but to create obedient soldiers and factory workers. That exact model then becomes the foundation for the entire Western education system. Then you fast forward to the 1920s and a guy named Edward Bernays, who just so happened to be Sigmund Freud's nephew, basically weaponizes psychology and calls it public relations. And this quote, wow. It just lays it all out, doesn't it? This is from an early education administrator, and he's not even trying to hide it. The whole point was never to create these big free thinkers. It was to train you just enough to do your job in the system, but never, ever enough to question the system itself. And get this, the system was openly celebrated for creating manageable citizens. Just think about it for a second. Sitting in neat little rows, raising your hand for permission to speak, the bell telling you when you're allowed to move. These weren't just about keeping order. They were drills, a kind of classical conditioning that wired compliance right into our nervous systems from day one. Okay, so you've got this foundation of compliance, right? Then you layer advertising right on top of it. And its architect, Edward Bernays, was crystal clear about his objective. This one single chilling idea became the engine for our entire consumer culture. Think about it. Pretty much every ad you see works on this one simple, brutal principle. Step 1, make you feel that you, as you are not enough. Step 2, offer a product as the magical cure, the illusion of relief. This creates this constant loop where we're always looking outside of ourselves for validation, always comparing and competing. And the scale of this conditioning, I mean, it is just mind-boggling. 370,000. That's how many TV ads the average American has seen by the time they turn 18. Every single one whispering that same message, you're not enough. The source material calls this what it is, a type of psychological warfare. So what do? In the face of all this pressure, from school, from ads, from society, we learn to adapt. We build this version of ourselves, a version that's not designed to be authentic, but is designed purely and simply to survive in the system. And there's actually a name for this survival mask, from the famous psychiatrist Carl Jung. He called it the persona. It's the agreeable, polite, carefully constructed face we show the world. But here's where we all make this huge, kind of tragic mistake. We start to believe the mask is our real face. We wear it for so long that we completely forget it's even there. We get so wrapped up in getting likes and avoiding criticism that we lose contact with that authentic, sovereign self that's inside. And the deepest tragedy of all is when we mistake a script we were handed for our actual identity. And just when you thought it couldn't get more intense, Modern technology shows up and basically puts the whole system on steroids. It's created this more powerful, more immersive version of the very same illusion. The source makes this incredible parallel to Plato's allegory of the cave, where prisoners mistake shadows on a wall for reality. We're doing the exact same thing today, except our shadows are backlit, they're in 4K, and every single one of them has been monetized. We're not really experiencing life anymore, we're consuming a filtered, photoshopped copy of a copy.
And look, this stuff is not harmless. Social media perfectly exploits our deepest, most ancient fear, the fear of being kicked out of the tribe. That's the panic you feel when you get blocked or unfollowed. The endless stream of information creates cognitive overload, and scientific studies are showing it's literally damaging our ability to form long-term memories. It's leading to what the source calls an engineered mass amnesia. So the real question is, what on earth can we do about any of this?
Okay, so if that's the program, how do you uninstall it? Now, there's no magic button here, no quick fix. What's offered is a challenging path forward, and it all starts with making one fundamental choice. This is it. This is the doorway out, but you have to know it is not a comfortable door to walk through. Waking up to this stuff doesn't feel like some beautiful sunrise. The source describes it as feeling more like a wrecking ball smashing through your life. It means grieving for the illusions you used to believe in. The first step is just deciding if you're willing to pay that price. So if you make that choice, that's when the real work starts. First, you have to reclaim your attention. You have to realize that your focus is the most valuable currency you have, and you need to guard it fiercely. The more distracted you are, the less of a threat you are to the system. And second, you have to actively start dismantling the blueprint. Question everything. Every definition of success, of happiness, of love that was handed to you.
And at the end of the day, this whole thing isn't about cramming more information or new tactics into your head. It's about subtraction. It's about unlearning all the programming to remember who you were before it all started. That confident, authentic, sovereign self you were as a little kid before the world started telling you who you were supposed to be.
And that's really the final, most important takeaway here. This journey isn't about becoming someone new. It's about remembering who you have been all along. The real question this whole thing leaves us with is, are you ready to start remembering?